Welcome to all the students in the class Invertebrates. With me, myself, Namrata. Today I will be explaining about the invertebrates and more about the invertebrates. In this class, we will discuss about the classification of invertebrates with the major characteristics of theirs and few examples individually. So there are 9 different phyla of invertebrates listed as Protozoa, Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, Nemathelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, and Echinodermata. In this lesson, the parts that are being focused are all about invertebrates, and they are also given in the questions form, which will be discussed during the class. Are what are the invertebrates, what are 9 phyla of invertebrates, what are the major characteristics of each phyla of invertebrates, and the definition of different phyla like Coelenterata, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, and their origin or where are they found. Alright, so what is invertebrates? Animals are grouped into 2 different types. First, vertebrates and invertebrates. On the basis of the presence of backbone in an animal are grouped into 2 different types. They are vertebrates and invertebrates, where vertebrates contain or have a backbone in their body, whereas invertebrates are unlike to the vertebrates. They do not have backbone, which all of us are already familiar with. We humans are vertebrates. We do have our backbone, but there are also 90% of species in the earth who do not have backbone, and they are the invertebrates in the kingdom Animalia. There are an organism that neither possess or develop vertebral column, commonly known as backbone or spine, derived from the notochord. For examples, insects, crabs, lobster, octopus, starfish, snail, sea urchin, and worms. The majority of animal species are invertebrates. We have to know that. Since they cannot produce their own food, they are heterotrophic. They do not have lungs since they respire through their skin. They are generally known to be an unicellular and microscopic organism. So, to know more about the invertebrates, the characteristics has been listed. Let us know more about the invertebrates, because invertebrates are not always unicellular. They are also multicellular organism. They do not have backbone. Yes, we already know. The body may be covered with a hard covering, yet they do not contain any skeleton or the backbone. Unicellular vertebrates are microscopic. They are very minute in a size. We cannot see with our bare eyes. They have primitive organs and systems that represents the characters of an early stage in the evolutionary time in the history. Symmetry may be bilateral or radial. Later you will get to see the bilateral and radial habitat of this organism in a diagram. Some have an open circulatory system and some have closed circulatory system in the organisms of this group. Reproduction can be sexual or sexual. Some invertebrates are hermaphrodite. Now, what is hermaphrodite? Hermaphrodites is an organism that produces both male and female gametes, allowing single organism to function as both male and female. The classification of invertebrates are simply done on the basis of structure and development from the evolutionary time of the organism in the earth. So on the basis of the study of their structure, invertebrates are of 9 different phyla, which has been already classified by the scientist. We will begin with the first phyla, that is Protozoa. In the Greek word, protos means First, zoon means animal. Literally, protozoan are the first discovered animal in the earth. They are unicellular and microscopic organism. The body may be irregular, flattened, or spherical. Locomotion takes place with the help of pseudopodia, cilia, or flagella. Now, what are the pseudopodia, cilia, or flagella? They are the parts of the body which will help the organism to do the movement. That is called locomotion. For the movement, this kind of organisms have three different types of body parts. They are pseudopodia, cilia, and a flagella, which can be seen in the paramecium, the flagella around its body surface, which will help the paramecium for the movement. And yes, breathing takes place through general body surface. They do not have, they are unicellular, so they do not have any organs like lungs. Reproduction takes place asexually through fission. Fission is actually the division of the nuclear material into two identical daughter cells. Asexually, reproduction are performed through the conjugations. For example, omovia and then paramecium. You can see the diagram here clearly. So the next phylum is Porifera. In a Greek word, poros as in pores, fer as in to bear. So literally, Porifera are an organism that bears the pores on their body surface. Alright? Porifera means pore bearer. The body of Porifera are multicellular but has no tissue. They have a symmetric body plan, which are not symmetrical. They have a unique kind of symmetry, as you can see in the picture. They can be commercially raised, which actually means they can be raised, grown for the commercial purpose to gain the economy as well. In economic purpose also, they are valuable. So this is all about phylum Porifera, which are one of the invertebrates phylum. Alright, so the next, another phylum is Coelenterata. Similarly, all these phylum are derived from the Greek word. Here, coels means hollow, enteron means gut. The organisms which has hollow gut are termed to be a Coelenterata in the kingdom, in the animal kingdom. So this kind of organisms has the body which contains coelenteron, where digestion takes place. Coelenteron, okay, the hollow gut. Mouth is present but anus is absent. So how do they pass their waste products? So it is all done from their body surface. Locomotion takes place with the help of tentacles. Now again, what is tentacles? Tentacles are the projections in their body parts, like we have hands and legs that helps us to move. Similarly, tentacles are the part in the Coelenterata that helps for its movement. Breathing takes place through the general body surface. They reproduce, the reproduction takes place by both sexual and asexual method in this phylum as well. So examples are given there: hydra, jellyfish, metrium, obelia. Now the phylum Platyhelminthes. This phylum is also derived from the Greek word platys as in flat, helminths as in worms. So flat worms, wherever we get to see, they are microscopic, we will not get to see, but the worms which are in flat body type are termed as Platyhelminthes. The body is flat, which may be leaf-like, tape-like, or ribbon-like structures. Suckers or hooks both are present. Now why are the suckers and hooks needed? We will discuss it little after a while. Now mouth is present but anus is also absent in this phylum, like that of the previous one. The body may be unsegmented. For example, liver fluke on the same phyla, there are two types of body type. There are unsegmented body type and a segmented body type. For example, liver fluke has unsegmented body type, but the tapeworm has the segmented body type. And they are hermaphrodite animals. Again, we have already discussed what is hermaphrodite, right? The organisms which can produce both male and a female gamete for the reproductions. Now, nervous system is present in this phylum. From this phylum, the nervous systems are present. So suckers and hooks are the parts that helps them to move from one location to the other location, like we learned in the previous phylum, like Coelenterata, and then Porifera, where they had the projections like cilia and pseudopodia and tentacles to move, right? In this Platyhelminthes, suckers are used for the movement. And the next phylum, Nemathelminthes or Aschelminthes, these are like this represent the same organism. All right, they are derived from the Greek word called ascus, as in bladder, helmins, as in worms. Bladder worms are termed to be Nemathelminthes or Aschelminthes. The body is round, unsegmented, cylindrical, and tapering at both sides to its both terminal points. Okay, the body both side, as in the body is covered with tough and thick cuticles. They do not have any skeletons. They are invertebrates, but they do contain thick cuticles on the body surface, like we bear skin on our body surface. They have a thick cuticles. All right, they are unisexual, means the sexes are separate. Like vertebrates, they have different sexes, like male and female. From this phylum, they have different sexes. Male and females are separated, whereas males are smaller than the female organism. The nervous systems and reproductive systems are present as well. They reproduce sexually, and for example, roundworm, hookworm, you can see in a picture, the female is more bigger than compared to the male organism. Okay, so yes, the locomotion is done by the sucker point. Next is phylum Annelida. Annelida is most commonly known to be the phylum representing the earthworm. Right? This phylum is also derived from the Latin word called annulus, having the ring or segmented body type. We all of us can imagine earthworm. So let us have a picture of earthworm while learning the characteristics of the phylum Annelida. That will make us more clear. The body is soft, elongated, and cylindrical, having the numerous rings. Ring-shaped body structure, right? The body is covered with thin cuticle. Locomotion takes place with the help of setae called earth. In earthworm, there is a locomotory part called setae. In earthworm, okay, you may not know, we may not know, but there is a locomotory organ in the earthworm, that is setae. And sucker in the leech, parapodia in nares. Now they look almost similar, but they have totally different locomotory organs. Now, alimentary canal is complete, which extends from mouth to the anus. Now, they are slowly, gradually developing from one phylum to the other phylum. If we talk about the protozoa, they were like unicellular. They didn't have any system. They represented the primitive characters of the evolutionary time. But where we come to the Annelida, now it has alimentary canal having both mouth and an anus. The excretory system and nervous systems are present. Yes, they are hermaphrodite or unisexual. Now this is quite typical. Though they have alimentary canals and their excretory systems are developed, their nervous systems are developed than the previous phylums, but they are hermaphrodite or unisexual. They produce both male and female gametes and does the reproduction. Unlike to the Nemathelminthes or Aschelminthes. Now, next phylum is Arthropoda. Now we are gradually developing. We are moving to the phylum where they have more advanced systems or the body parts. Now, these arthropods are the organisms in the animal kingdom. Invertebrates, one of the group of the animal kingdom, where arthros means jointed and pods means feet, kind of organism that contains the feet which are joint. Now what are they? For example, you can see the picture, you can clearly see cockroach, butterfly, and then prawn. These kind of animals has joint legs, which also fall onto the group invertebrates in the kingdom Animalia. All representatives of phylum Arthropoda share the following characters. Number one, arthropods have jointed appendages, that are the organs which moves in the locomotion, like humans have legs and hands. These organisms appendages, like limbs, we call it limbs, right? For limbs, hind limbs. Limbs are segmented. Now they are a little bit developed than the earlier phylum. Arthropod body is segmented. Now they are segmented into different parts. Now arthropods have exoskeleton. They do not have backbone, they do not have skeleton, but they do have exoskeleton at the outer body surface. Arthropods have a ventral nervous system, which are at the outer part, an open circulatory system, that is where the circulation of blood takes place, a digestive system, a respiratory system, an excretory system, and specialized sensory receptors as well. They do have the sense of smell, and then they do have a sense of visual as well. Now they slowly in the group invertebrates, the systems are gradually developing, coming from protozoan to the phylum Arthropoda. These organisms possess the systems like digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system, and the sensory receptor system as well. So we have to move on to the next phylum, and that is Mollusca of the group Invertebrata, where we will get to see a lot of examples like Phylum, and then Helix, and then Lemax, and then Mytilus, Octopus, Unio, Chiton, Dentalium. Okay, this all falls under the Mollusca. Now, what is precious in this world? The gold, silver, pearls. Right now, what are the pearls? Pearls are made from this phylum called Mollusca. Let us learn what are they. Mollusk means soft bodied, having a soft body, right? A mollusca has no internal skeleton, but many have cells that act as an external skeleton, providing the protection. Now let us make more clear about this. Is invertebrates, they do not have backbone or any skeleton internally, but externally they have a very hard skeleton that provides the protections for the organism. Most mollusca usually have some versions of head, soft body, and a foot. One important part of mollusca's body is the mantle, which is the fleshy tissue that lines the inside of the cell. Alright, that we will get to learn more in the anatomy in the next further classes. For now, all you need to know is there is one phylum called Mollusca which do not possess any skeleton internally inside the body, but externally they contain the very hard skeletons for the protection purpose. This part called mantle is responsible for cell growth and color. Cell as in not the cell of a tissue that forms a tissue, but cell externally, the hard covers cell growth is responsible. Mantle is responsible for the cell growth and the color to it, and it assists in other functions such as respiration as well. Growth of the cell occurs by the mantle absorbing calcium carbonate from the seawater. Yes, from this we need to know that mollusca are found in the marine environment, that is in a seawater. Alright, the color of the cell is due to the pigment cells in the mantle. So there is a very soft part, fleshy tissue, which is called as a important part of the mollusca body, which is called a mantle, and it is responsible for the cell growth, outer cell, okay, the outer cover hard cell and its color. And it also absorbs the calcium carbonate from the seawater that will give the color to its cell as well. So it's quite interesting. The interesting under the sea, there are the organisms that falls under the invertebrates, right? So next phylum is, we have Echinodermata. I guess this is the last phylum on the invertebrates. Echinos as in spiny, derma as in skin. So literally Echinodermata are the animals which has spines on their outer body surface or in their skin. The body is covered with the spiny skins. So what are they? The body may be star-shaped, cylindrical or globular. Okay, these are of different shapes of organisms, right? Locomotion takes help with the tube feet. Okay, now this kind of organisms moves from one location to the other location with the help of tube feet. The feet are projected in the shape of tube, which will help the organism to move, to do their locomotion. Distinct head is absent in this Echinodermata. Mouth is present in the ventral surface, and upper surface is actually called as a ventral, the upper body surface, and the lower body surface is called ventral surface. For your knowledge, you must know that the ventral surface means the lower surface, right? And the upper surface of any organisms are known to be a dorsal. So distinct head is absent, mouth is present in the ventral surface. At the lower surface, the mouth is present. Water vascular system is present in such organisms because they are also found in the marine environment, that is in the seawater. Sexes are separate. Yes, they can be, this kind of organisms can be found as male and female both. They reproduce by regeneration. So this is all for the invertebrates, where we will get to learn about the organisms having internal no skeletons, no backbone, but externally they may contain the skeletons for the protection purpose and with the different shape and sizes for their existence. So thank you everyone.